Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is RenderTechnician and welcome to another episode of RenderTech Classic. In this episode we're going to be looking at the original Five Nights at Candy's. Let's turn Vsync on. Let's continue. We're running off the old save here, so it's going to be a bit slow. But again, it gives me a bit of a time to have a look over everything. Now obviously, Emil Mako, let's mute this guy, borrowed a lot of inspiration from Five Nights at Freddy's 1, and essentially this game is Five Nights at Freddy's 1, but with candy. That's the whole concept, really. I mean, even Emil has said this wasn't really a creative idea, but again, it's more of a proof of concept of what could be done, and I suppose this game was kind of a proof of concept of Emil's skill of, look what I can do, look how close these characters look to the toy animatronics. I mean, if you showed this game to somebody who's never played Five Nights at Freddy's before, they would think that this was its own original concept, its own original game, and quite rightly so. I mean, he's even done a tutorial of how to do the toy animatronic texture, and it does look very accurate. Candy's texture could have easily have been ripped from Toy Bonnie, albeit a bit of a darker blue, and obviously Toy Bonnie doesn't have white. Now the strategy for Night 7, one I found out, is you don't use the camera, with the exception of blanks, so every now and again you go to cam 11, but you just do this on Night 7, and you'll either see the eyes, or the older animatronics will emit this sort of whirring noise. If you go and see the Five Nights at Candy's 720 mode recording, you'll hear that there's a whirring noise at either side. And if you hear sort of like a reverberating whirring noise, you'll hear, you close both doors, because that means that Old Candy is here, and the rat is there. Which kind of makes sense. Nobody's moving. Obviously, the what's really quite clever as well is the power goes. The usage. There, I'll show you. If you keep the door closed, you'll see that the usage slowly increases. I don't. Yeah, there you go. It's a bit slower on night 1, but on later nights it's very ferocious. So the doors will consume more power the longer you leave them closed, which again is quite clever. But the original didn't do that, and a lot of people felt that the game was simply too easy. Then you got like the learning curve of Night 6, and it's only 1 AM, and you've got the kiosk there. Markiplier can turn up on this screen. I've only seen him turn up once, and I think that was on Markiplier's recording. Obviously you got that. The burger doesn't do anything. That's a reference to the cupcake, obviously, from FNAF 1. I think that's kind of it. If you actually go and have a look at the 3D model of the room, you'll see that the walls actually it's some weird camera work. I don't know how he's done it, but the wall sort of bends out and then bends back in, but then the perspective object compensates for that. And yeah, I am getting ill again. That's one of the byproducts of winter. And of course, we've got the ambience. This runs the same resolution as Five Nights at Freddy's 2, 3, and 4, 1024 by 768, but obviously it's stretched. Most computers do that as standard. The only computer that I've ever had that doesn't do that, actually, is a laptop. And for some weird reason, I've never been able to get it to go to stretch it, so you just have to stretch it in the recording, which is an absolute pain in the arse. The only pain in the arse with the ambience is, like I said, the whirring earlier, it does make it harder to hear it. So, you have to really pay attention when the ambience plays, and because it's random, it could come up at most inappropriate moments. And it looks like two people having sex on Blank's forehead there. It probably isn't that, but yeah, you can just see there's a guy there. Oh no, it could be like a square dick there. and there's like a guy there, or it could be that he's bent over. Or yeah, there's the body, bent over, there's the head, and there's like the stick legs. Or that might be a guy killing another guy. That actually looks like a guy with a crowbar. There's a million things for what. There's oh my god, holy shit, what the fuck happened there? I was just literally talking about how it looks like two people are having sex on Blank's head, and all of a sudden everyone's moving. That's not candy, that's just an arcade machine. I mean, you can't come through there. That's one way to keep an eye on them. Where the fuck is Cindy? She's not there, I don't think. At least I hope not. He's still there. Okay. So, Cindy comes to cam 4, and Candy can come to either 6 or 4. Now, if he's got two, like, different branching off methods. So, he'll go from 9 to 8, then to 2, and he'll either go from 5 to 4, or he'll go from 8 to 7, then 6. And there's a rule in... Where the fuck is Cindy? Okay, Candy's moved. Okay, 2 and 3, fine. That's okay. I can't establish whether who's having sex on Blank's head now. But no, you've got a character here, I want to say Blake. It's not Blake. Blake is the badger from Pop Goes. Oh, I cannot remember his name. Chester! That's it, Chester. Chester the chimpanzee, that's his name. So Chester comes out of this cove here. He'll come from 9 to 8 to 7 to 6. And I've got to keep an eye on there. And then you've got old Candy, who'll come from the parts and services. And he'll come from 9, 8, 7, then 6. Oh, hello. Right. That can mean anything. I'm going to keep you shut just in case Cindy makes an appearance. We're doing okay, actually. I think Candy's... They don't go... Oh, hello. They don't go back to their spawn point, but they do go... I don't know if they actually have predetermined places where they'll go. Right, you've gone. And this is the best way to do it, but if you want to save power... Cindy goes back to the start point, but Candy doesn't. And then you got another animatronic. Let me find him. Rat. Rat comes out of this. I think it's this door here, that black door there, and he'll go, and he can come to 6 or 4. Now it's old Candy and the Rat, who you want to be especially aware of because they don't make a. They don't make any sort of. Their eyes don't flash because, well, they've got no eyes. They've just got blank holes where the iris should be. So you have to keep an eye on their whirring. I imagine because their servers are older, that's why they make that kind of noise. Which would kind of make sense, actually, seeing as the older animatronics probably... They either were outfitted with eyes, or they got broken, or they got given to the newer animatronics as a cost-cutting measure, or maybe they were just prototypes and they were never really given eyes in the first place. But of course, with FNAC 3... coming out, we'll see if they've got eyes. I mean, in FNAC 2, they didn't have eyes. With FNAC 2, I'm not actually sure if that's a prequel or a sequel. It might be, I mean, I think it might be a prequel, simply because the rat and the cat aren't as damaged, and it's debatable whether the cat in FNAC 2 and the cat in FNAC 1 are the same cat, or is the cat in FNAC 1 sort of like a successor, so to speak, to the cat in FNAC 2. And obviously we've got the other star of this show, the Reverse Puppet, who is basically the puppet from Five Nights at Freddy's, only instead of a nice, happy, smiley face, he's miserable as fuck. He's basically the British puppet. And he's just, like, talking about the weather. I mean, look at this. I mean... The normal puppet's obviously American because it's always nice and hot and sunny over there, but this puppet is British because if you look at his face, maybe he's the Scottish puppet because he's always sad, but it's always raining and it's always snowing and it's always horrible and cold. And yes, I think we will do Night 2 actually. Let's go for night 2. This doesn't feel very RenderTech classic-y. Maybe I'm just... I don't know, maybe I'm in the mood to do a proper episode and I need an excuse to do FNAC 2. FNAC 1, sorry. We'll be doing FNAC 2, no, not scary. We've already done FNAC 2, not scary. Everybody hated it. FNAC 2 RenderTech Classic, but we'll do it another day. It's the same strategy. I literally just want to show you... Chester. I keep saying blank. Oh, no, not blank. Blake. I don't know. I've got pop goes on my head today. I'm not particularly sure why. Where has Candy gone? That is a good question. He's in 5. Candy seems to be able to teleport akin to Bonnie in FNAF 2. Or FNAF 1, sorry. I'll give her eventually. So yeah, there's Candy. He can't come through there. That's simply reserved for blank. Okay, so we're gonna get a visit there. I don't think old Candy comes out until night 3. I think I'll let one of them kill us. Well, maybe let Chester kill us. And I heard footsteps there, but not too sure where from. Again, especially, I mean, some of the earlier nights, this game was very lenient when it came to power. So there are reports of people, yeah, beating the game with like 50% power or something stupid like that. Like a really... Because the game wasn't really that challenging when it first came out. And that's why I imagine Emil Mako gave the game like the scaling door power. And I've enabled Vsync, but I'm noticing quite a bit of screen tearing. Oh, whoa, there he is. There's Chester the chimpanzee. Right, wait. We need to keep an eye on blank, because he's basically Foxy. So if you don't keep your eye on him, he'll smash through this window here, and he'll get into your office. We're not getting a lot of activity. There is. There's really not much activity on night 2. I'm just going to let Chester kill us, to be honest. I mean, these guys haven't moved at all. Their movement parameters must be set quite low. With the exception of Chester. Chester seems to be quite active. Absolutely no one's coming for us. I don't know if the screen tearing will actually show up in the recording. It might just be my monitor, because I run I now run 3 monitors in parallel to each other. So we're going to just let Chester kill us. So what we're going to do is I'm going to close the right door, and we're just going to let Chester get us. So you can see the jump scares. There you are. Obviously there's a window there, that's why there's still a bit of reflection. So let's see if we can... there you are. So it's got the same sort of thing as FNAF 1. So if you press it and it does that, it'll start flashing. That implies that he's got into your office. And you get the jump scare. Lovely job. And none of that weird glitching stuff from FNAF 2. And of course you got the paper from Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Which this sort of ties into the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's 2. That's why the game was tearing like crazy. It disabled Vsync for some reason. I definitely think that needs to be hooked up to an INI counter or something. Okay, well that was this episode of RenderTech Classic. We had an in-depth look at Five Nights at Candy's 1. Join us in the next episode where we'll be looking at Five Nights at Candy's 2. Anyways, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Take care, everybody.